All right. So, I think I'm going to talk a little bit about meditation because I've been making some breakthroughs lately. Breakthroughs by my standards, at least. Um, so I think the way I'm approaching meditation right now is that I'm trying to do it more often. I'm trying to just like take stock of like in different situations, how does my mind act? And and that's the reason that's useful is because then in extreme situations, you are more quickly able to find your center of consciousness and orient yourself around that. So this the center of consciousness. I should explain that first. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. If you quiet your mind and you try and pay attention to what's going on, you will find that there are lots of things happening in your mind. And then there's also you watching those things happen. And the identity of the watcher, it's a little hard to describe, but there's like, if you just peel back the layers of like conscious and unconscious thought, you'll find that there's like a little seed of consciousness, which is the part of you that doesn't change. It's the part of you that does the watching, while everything else changes in your mind around that. But the actual seed of consciousness itself doesn't change much from moment to moment, which is actually really nice because it gives you something to anchor to. Um, so I've been like trying to do meditation every day. I have not succeeded, but I've been trying to do meditation every day for the last 2 weeks in preparation for my next psychedelic trip, which was last night. And I would say it has helped tremendously because when the psychedelics were in full effect and they were messing with my head, I was able to find my center and realize that even in that crazy state, there was something within me that was not changing, that was observing. It doesn't have emotions, it doesn't have value judgments. That stuff all comes from within the mind. But the thing that's outside of the mind, the consciousness, the seed of consciousness, as I've been calling it, that doesn't judge, it doesn't really think, it doesn't really feel, it's just there. And that is like the core part of you. Everything else is kind of built around that. So getting familiar with identifying that in the moment is very helpful because then any amount of sensory input, any amount of emotional turmoil, anything else can be put into perspective quite quickly. I mean, we'll see how when that gets tested, how it holds up. Like I said, it's been 2 weeks. I'm not saying I've figured it all out. This is actually like pretty much day one stuff that I just have had to come to in my own way because that's how I am. So the practice of meditation, though, I think this is kind of an interesting topic because I've heard many different things about it. So the sort of naive perspective on meditation is that you sit there and you try to think about nothing. And then what the meditation practitioners will tell you is that that's not true. What you actually need to do is sit there and not neither try to think of anything or try to think of nothing. You're not really trying to do anything. You're just letting thoughts come to you and you're observing them as they pass. And you're not chasing them, and etc. And that's true. You do that. But what I've also observed, especially in longer sessions, is that it's actually so when you do calm your mind and you do think about nothing, when you don't have any direct, like, verbal, what was the I think it was lexical is the word I'm thinking of. When you don't have any lexical thoughts going in through your head, all that's left is like emotion or feeling. And the thing is, that goes pretty deep. I think what's going on is once I've managed to calm my mind and calm all my lexical thoughts, you're actually able to probe much deeper into the subconscious than you realize. So I think that's probably my next step in meditation, is trying to get to a point where I can not only do the mindfulness stuff and like observe thoughts as they pass and et cetera, and find the center and let that guide me and all that. Not only can I do that, but also I want to be doing longer sessions where I go deeper than that. And I do try to calm all lexical thought, and I try to probe emotions, and I try to probe my subconscious. And I think my recent acid trip is going to help a lot, because I experienced a lot of morphing thought patterns, I guess. Like, sort of against my will, a lot of different parts of my mind were coming up and down and being exposed in new and interesting ways. And I think I can replicate that through meditation, now that I know what I'm after. It's a hard thing to describe, but I think you can set out a practice that will put people in the best position possible to get the same thing out of meditation that I am getting out of it. I've worded that very carefully, obviously. But yeah, I think I could actually put together a system. It would look something like, meditate for 5 minutes twice a day for 2 weeks, and keep a journal. So after you're done meditating, just take down thoughts, not extensive thoughts, probably even not full thoughts, just words, little snippets, whatever you come out of it with, and just kind of take note of like what state of mind you were in going into it, coming out of it, etc., etc. Just 5 minutes for the first 2 weeks, and then maybe at the end of the first 2 weeks, you set a goal to do 30 minutes, with no judgment, no strings attached, but you set your mind to, I'm going to sit down and I'm not going to get up for 30 minutes at the very least. I'm going to try and do mindfulness meditation for the whole 30 minutes, but that's pretty difficult and you might not succeed. So that's the end of the first 2 weeks. And then I think at that point, you probably up it to 10 minutes a day, or 10-minute sessions, maybe drop it down to once a day. Maybe a 10-minute session and a 5-minute session. See what happens. Just kind of building up your endurance. And it's at this point that you could probably introduce some sort of spiritual study in the meantime. So you get a bit more of a direction to your meditation sessions, and maybe a bit more of a goal. The first 2 weeks are just orientation, getting used to it. Then you start working towards a goal. And I guess like the ultimate goal, I don't think like I don't think super long meditation sessions are necessarily it. I mean, I think they probably are crazy. Like you can probably go some wild places. But I don't think you necessarily need crazy long meditation sessions as an end goal. I think just having like a being able to get into the meditation quicker and get into your trance, state, and being able to get the most out of that as possible in like 30-minute chunks, I think would be like a good goal, and being able to do that maybe every day. I think that's, and I'm at this point I'm talking for myself. I think that's probably my goal right now, is to do more meditation. And I mean, I need to get my like schedule sorted out because I'm going on like 24 hours of no sleep right now. But that's, because of circumstances that were in my control, but not really in my control. Yeah, I think that's my thoughts on meditation for now. Obviously, that's going to continue to evolve as I get better, or not get better, but do more meditation. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that.